Hello, welcome. I'm Shalon, self-love queen fashionista and emotional energy alchemist, and I'm here to help guide you through your self-love journey and the energies at this time. So thank you so much for being here. I'm kind of feeling like this soft energy today, which is different. I feel like there's been so much heaviness lately, and so it's kind of nice. Like, I'm feeling very like, this white and flowy, and we're going to use the Rose Oracle card deck today, and I'm going to use my rose water to clear the energy. So I'm excited to see what it was 4 on the, or like 44 seconds or whatever on the clock when I saw. And if you guys have been following me, 4 have been synchronistic lately. So let's see what messages are coming up for today. What guidance do we need? That flew out very quickly. What else do we have? One more? 2 more. All right. All over the place. This one came out first. I'm not sure if it matters. Okay, the first one that came out is Mother Rose. Returning to each other, compassion, humanity. And the other day we were just talking about like having compassion for yourself, right? Because you when we have compassion for ourselves, then it's easier to have compassion towards other people, right? To look at things from a different perspective and see that it's kind of like everybody's fighting their own battles is the kind of energy that I'm getting, and to be understanding of that, right? So Mother Rose, here we go, right there. A sacred symbol of the feminine, the rose, has been here much longer than us. In ancient times, garlands of roses were placed around statues of mother goddesses in worship of her. We're all her children. She connects and unites us all. If we trace her roots far enough, maybe we'll find our way back to each other. We're living in a time of great division, learning and unlearning. We're together mending the thread of humanity. This is a card of returning to union by facing what's been broken, separated, and severed. To realize that we're all human, and while harm has been done, what's needed now is for us to acknowledge what's happened and endeavor to find a way to return to each other. And the way back to each other is by doing our own inner healing as well. Coming back to oneself and finding that peace within, right? To realize that it's possible for two people to have a different experience at the same time, and that both can be true, right? That it's okay for people to have two different perspectives on something, okay? Like I've said this before, if you've ever been in a situation where there was an accident or something, and they go around and they ask people, like the police or whatever, they go around and they ask everybody, well, what from your perspective, what happened? And then from somebody else's perspective, what happened? And everybody's story will be different, but all of them are true, right? Because it was from their perspective. So Mother Rose longs for humanity to drop our defenses, okay? Drop the defenses, reach out to each other with deep honesty and compassion. And we need to be honest with ourselves first, right? So that we may have compassion to face and untangle the sadness, anger, and hurt from our hearts with the help of her grace. And there might need to be some forgiveness in there too. And that's okay, right? Because like I said, when the card came out, everybody is fighting their own battles, right? And we just need to understand that's really, it's not about us. Sometimes it's not about us at all, and we just take it personally. So, to dig our roots deep until we find common ground. So the questions here are, which relationships are difficult for you right now, right? Because, and saying that our relationships are a reflection of our internal world and what's going on inside. And when we're able to work on that and shift and change and grow, then the I want to say outer and external, our outer or external, whichever world will reflect that back to us, right? And that's why it's so important to come back to ourselves and do the inner work and whatnot. And if that's something that you're needing to do, is work on your relationship with yourself. You know, you might want to look into some coaching packages with me, or Self-Love Queen Academy is coming up in the fall. Okay, so in the fall, like fall is literally around the corner. When I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like the end of September that's starting up. So the next question is, who has hurt you? Okay, and how can you soften and express your truth without being defensive? Okay, so coming from a place of love, putting the ego aside with being like, yeah, but you hurt me, so then, is not where we want to come from, right? How can you open yourself up to the possibility that two truths can exist at once? Okay, so maybe you're looking at a situation from a place of hurt, but the other person, maybe you hurt that person as well, and you just don't realize it. Okay, so it might be something to dig a little further into, and we can only do that with like inner work and communication and all of those lovely things. So your rose transmission, if you want to place your hand on your chest, is: Mother Rose, please show us how to find our way back to you, the earth, and each other. Please help me to acknowledge what's difficult for me, and may my heart be filled with compassion for all. Breathe that in and sigh it out. Beautiful. So the next card is Release the Petals, Transformation, Death and Rebirth, Shedding all change, right? In order for things to shift and change, we need to let go. And sometimes we hold on to things so tightly, and that's why it takes longer. Sometimes things are just ripped from us. Sometimes it's a pretty crazy tower moment. But it's always for our highest best good, right? Whether we see it in the moment or not, it's always for our highest best good. So there comes a point where we can't go back. In a seemingly fleeting moment, the road that led us here is suddenly impossible to access, right? You've shifted, you've changed, you've grown. You are no longer the person that you used to be. But you know that there is absolutely no way back to the whoa, my light, to the person that, it's like, that was, oh my gosh, that's so bizarre. Okay, no light. It's having a mind of its own. So there's the sinking, knowing that things will never be the same. Okay, so it's almost like, I was just talking with a lady about this the other day. It's like a grieving process, right? We grieve that past version of ourselves, our past life. It's okay to grieve that. It's almost like an honoring that we need to grieve the person that we were, that got us to who and where we are today, and thank them and honor them. And it's perfectly necessary to do so in order to let go, right? So that we can allow all these new things to come to us, right? So a death, a birth, a loss, a growth, an ending, a discovery. No matter how hard you try, things are different now. You're different now. The world is different now, right? It's about that different perspective. You're never going to see things the same way again. Never, right? As much as you want to put the blinders back on, sometimes you're like, I don't want to, but you know, right? So what's been seen can't be unseen. There's no going back. Something new beckons you forth. You don't know what it is, but you know you need to keep going, right? So this is a card of change and transformation. Courage is required for the rebirth to happen. And thankfully, right now we are in Leo season. So you can harness that beautiful, like courageous lion energy right now. Like I've literally just been feeling this like fierce, like just, yeah, like lioness energy kind of deal, right? So plus we just had the Lionsgate portal. So that was very powerful in itself. If you missed my activations for the Lionsgate portal, go into my shorts because they're in there. Abscission is the shedding of various parts of an organism, such as a plant dropping a leaf, a flower, fruit, or seed. The rose hip knows, the phoenix does too, that we need to surrender, and what was to the earth to one day be transformed anew, right? We're always scared to let go because we're worried about that it's not going to be replaced with something better. But it is always, if you look back on your life and how things have shifted and changed and cycled, it has always been replaced with something better. Okay. And we just intend that. Even when we're doing our manifestations and stuff, right? We always say ask for this or something better. Because usually what we're asking for, we deserve way, way more. We just don't even realize it, right? So we can grasp the petals of the past as the changing winds blow, but eventually we'll discover that change is coming, change is near, change is already here. And while what once was is no longer, and what soon will be is not yet, I have full body goosebumps right now. It's time to release your petals to the wind with wild abandon for the chance to begin again, to offer what once was to the wind and let it nourish the seeds within. So I just like have this visual. I don't suggest doing this because it's probably not the best for our earth and everything, but it was literally like write down all the things that you're like wanting to release and let go of. 1, 2, 3, 1 on my timer, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1 is about new beginnings, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is about forward movement. Okay, so yeah, writing all these things down. I personally love to, it's the fire signs in me. I love to burn things. That's why I always have like sage going and whatnot. But like if I'm releasing something, I always love to do it like with the full moon and like burn the paper. And like usually I'll post it on my shorts. And it's infused with light language while I'm doing it so that it's like amplified and you guys can utilize that energy towards your own releasing and manifestation and whatever else. Okay. But what I visualized, my whole point right now was like ripping up this piece of paper and just letting the pieces go in the wind. Okay. And maybe I just had this other idea, and I might actually do this, is to do it with like a flower and just place an intention of something that you want to let go of with each petal. You know how you pick when we were little, we would be like, does he love me? Does he love me? No. Does he love me? Oh my God, the silly things we did as kids, but like how cute and like how magical can that be, right? So about, or even I just have this other like, obviously my light is just like, this is probably my energy making this light right now, but dandelions, just setting the intention, because I know, you know how they get those big balls of fluff on them, and just like when you're blowing, just setting the intention of everything that you're blowing away into the wind. You might have to do something like that and let me know. So, okay. It's time to surrender so the transformation can happen. Had the rose not released its petals, the rose hip would not have come to be. When we gather the courage to release what was, we're greeted by the fruits of the future. So the soul inquiry is, what are you clinging to for fear of nothing coming to take its place? don't know what's going on with this light. But so the child within, inner mother, innocence, gentleness, tenderness. So nurturing the child within right now is so important. Being kind and compassionate to yourself like you would a child, right? We have compassion coming up. So getting really like major full body goosebumps right now. So we'll see what's happening. I wish this light wasn't being so crazy. We can be so hard on ourselves, expecting to heal according to a schedule. It's my first day drinking, apparently. And beating ourselves up when we make a mistake. The rose wants us to release all hardness from our bodies and all hurt from ourselves to find a way to soften. What did I say? I said, I'm feeling this very soft energy, right? To be soft with yourself, to nurture yourself, okay? To remember that no matter what has happened, is happening, or will happen, we're all innocent children of the stars and the earth. The flowers are here for us. They're a safe, soft place to remember. They want you to nurture the child within. This is a card of gentle reassurance and compassion. It brings a message of gentle understanding and tenderness. It's reminding you to treat yourself like the innocent child that you are, to take your inner child and let them rest deeply in the soft petals of your heart, to let them know that you've got them. You are the adult. You've got them. They're safe with you, okay? It's very important. We all have a child within us who at some point went into exile because they were hurt or because the world didn't feel safe. And no matter how much we've grown, when we as adults are hurt or triggers, it's normal to regress to this age and feel overwhelmed by the original emotion, okay? This is the work that I do, all right? We go back to that child and we clear what happened so that we are able to move forward with from that wounded inner child. Releasing those limiting beliefs, right? Healing that part of yourself that was hurt, that was wounded from whatever trauma happened, and coming back to self-love, okay? And letting that little child know that, like I said, they think, like when you go back to that, when you have that trigger, right? You're back, you're that, whatever, let's hypothetically say 8-year-old, because it's an 8-year-old, that came to my mind right now. So whoever that resonates with, that had this traumatic event, right? And so they're reacting from that 8-year-old self, as opposed to an adult, right? How an adult would react. And so it's important to let that child know that you are the adult now. Sometimes we need to have a little conversation with our inner child and let them know that I'm actually an adult now. Okay. So, while we can't change the past, what we can do is scoop up the child within and place them in the soft petals of the rose of our own heart. Okay. So your soul inquiry is, how can you tenderly tend the child within? Beautiful. So the next card is Subrosa. And it is hidden in plain sight, mysteries, learning, and teaching. Sometimes what we're looking for is actually right in front of us. You know, I've just got this like visual. You know how when you're looking for something in the cupboard and you're like looking, you're digging deep and whatever else, and then you ask somebody else and they come and they're like, it's right here. Right here in front of you. You were looking like way past it. And that's the whole like different perspective kind of thing. So let's see. The rose has been a symbol of secrecy for millennia. The ancient Romans wore rose garlands on special occasions, and when these were hung above important meeting places, the conversations that took place beneath were considered subrosa, or under the rose. Okay? It was understood that things said under the rose would be kept secret and not repeated. There's also an image of the ancient Egyptian god Horus sitting with a rose and holding his fingers to his lips, symbolizing silence about the deep mysteries. The phrase Subrosa may have its origins in ancient Greece, where in 477 BCE, a secret negotiation took place in a building attached to the temple of Minerva. So this is the temple behind her. Okay. On the building's roof was a rose garden, hence Subrosa. Another otherworldly theory of the phrase's origin is linked to Eros, who is said to be I don't know why I'm struggling with this, who is said to have bribed Harpocrates, the Greek god of silence and secrecy, with the rose to persuade him to remain silent on the affairs of the gods. This card represents the great mysteries that are available for us to uncover and remember. Okay? Secrets that are waiting to be found, teachings that our soul might be ready to learn. Look beyond what your eyes can see and dig a little deeper. So actually kind of the reverse of what I was saying about seeing like past what is right in front of us. Okay. Like looking for deeper, well, it says deeper mysteries, right? And we can't do that unless we let go of things to allow these new things in, right? You're here to uncover lost wisdom, ancient secrets, and deep mysteries. Are you being called to study the great mysteries, to live the great questions, and step into your role as a teacher, guide, or mystic? Are you being called to question things and unearth the truths unknown? Your soul inquiry is, what are you being called to study, learn more about, or unearth? So, what have you been really interested in lately? I was talking with a lady the other day, and she was telling me that she's like so interested in like herbs and all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, so why aren't you like working with that? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing more research into that and whatever else? If that's what you really love, if that's what you're really passionate about, then why aren't you doing it? Right? Like I love doing oracle card readings, and I've watched like a million oracle card readings and tarot readings and whatever else, and like just everything. And I just felt called to do it. And so, you know, it's about trusting that inner calling, trusting that inner knowing. Like, what is your heart calling for? What is your soul calling for? What lights you up, right? It's like, what is something that you would do for free, okay, because you love it so much, but you don't have to, because you love it so much that you will be supported in it. So anyway, thank you so much for being here today. I know sometimes these readings get so long, but all these messages and everything just need to come out, and it's just how it is. Thank you for being here again. If you would like to work with me further, I have coaching packages, as well as my group coaching program, Self-Love Queen Academy, that is starting up in the fall, in September. And we will be deep diving. I talked about the inner child healing today, right? We'll be doing lots of inner child healing, and as well as like with the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the dark goddess, and all of those beautiful aspects of ourselves, because they are all a part of us and they are all one, right? And to just find that deeper relationship with yourself, right? So that you can start shaping your life the way that you so deserve. So please like, share, and subscribe so I can reach a wider audience of beautiful souls and share these messages with them and help them along their journey as well. And remember, you weren't meant to blend in. You were born to shine. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.